seconds. 5 seconds. Hurry, hurry! Reserve time. Radiance ban. Ten seconds to pick. Dire's turn to make all the wrong choices.
The sack.
Radiant team are now picking. Only 10 seconds. 5 seconds remain. Reserve time. Shaker. Radiant team pick.
Takira.
Dire team are now picking. Only 10 seconds. 5 seconds. Hurry, hurry! Reserve time.
Hello friends, thank you for joining us for tonight's UGC matchup between Team What a Surprise and the Super Trash Brothers. This is the voice of Armpit, stats analyst for New Meta Media. Follow us on Twitter at NMMDota or like New Meta Media on Facebook for heads up on upcoming casts. Once again, your caster tonight is Sub-Zero, with Vivi joining him in the co-caster's chair as we take a look at Week 5 of the North American Iron Division. We saw a very, very action-packed Game 1 with Super Trash Brothers coming in triumphant over Team What a Surprise. Very stoked for Game 2. Handing this one over to your casters.
Alright, thank you Armpit very much. Again, we are back here for game number 2. Right off the bat, I mean, Leshrac and Earthshaker, Jakiro, that's a lot of stun potential coming out. And Vivi, what do you think of this lineup? Do Team What a Surprise really need to shuffle up their lineup, change everything after being really trashed by Super Trash Brothers at the end there?
Oh yeah, that was just an absolutely devastating Windranger pickup, and this is the first time that we've seen Team What a Surprise not ban out the Silencer in the first round, because they just knew they could not stand up to the Windranger again. And they will be picking up a Warlock, so again, just lots of AoE stuns and teamfight coming out from both teams right now.
Yeah, I mean, the start of the last match, right off the bat with Trilane versus Trilane, that was a lot of potential, a lot of kill potential coming out, a lot of back and forth, both teams running low, Drow actually taking most of it at the end, running, I think it was 3-0 and 2. So it'd be great to see right out the bat here Leshrac being picked up, as we said, which is most often Super Trash Brothers hero that they picked up, but I think they're lucky to get this one right out of the gate. Leshrac is a hero that a lot of teams are trying to pick up right now, most likely running mid. And like you said, with this Warlock being picked up, it's a lot of AoE, a lot of stun, and it's going to be one hell of a match, I think, for Game 2.
That's one thing I've never really thought about, is utilizing Fatal Bonds with Leshrac. I think that's going to be absolutely disgusting in team fights. Just so much shared AoE damage between everybody, so really excited to see how Super Trash Brothers are going to try and deal with it. They do seem to have quite a bit of disengage with the Jakira and the Earthshaker. They can block off paths to escape if they need to, and hopefully bait out a Warlock ult and then try and disengage.
Yeah, I mean, like, the whole Sven Invoker thing, it looked good on paper. Except for at the end with the BKBs, not really going to be able to do anything against that lineup. But, I mean, Sven is your damage dealer, and Sun playing a really good Invoker. I mean, he was pretty much on point for everything. Precise Tornadoes, he only missed a couple, I think. He was really good, but just unable to get the total kills done against What a Surprise, and all in all, just not able to finish them off, so... What do you think they're going to look for? Like I said, I think Leshrac is probably going to be their mid. What are they going to look for a carry?
Well, I think they've learned their lesson with putting all their eggs in the one melee carry basket against tons of disables. So I'm hoping they go for a little bit more of an early game skirmishing lineup with, relying on the Leshrac once it gets to the later game. As an interesting note, they banned the Omni Knight. I'm assuming it's a respect ban, but probably not realizing that Trash Brothers really have both of their supports already picked out.
Yeah, you don't really see a core Earthshaker being run in a lot of tournaments, so I would agree with that. Interesting ban out for that. But Omni did do a lot of work. He was so much sustained in that bottom tri-lane to begin with, as well as later on, just being able to heal up and send the front runners right back in, throwing on Repel. I didn't even see a lot of Guardian Angel coming out from him. There was just so much sustained just from his two first abilities that's all they really needed.
Yeah, I think I saw like 2 Omni ults the entire game, last game. Really not much.
Yeah, not a lot at all. And you know what? Running from last game, I'm going to have to hand it to Toolbox. He was really all over the map and so close to dying so many times, but I'd probably take him as game MVP, really just getting around the map, taking down so many kills. His item choice was actually on point. Getting that Maelstrom with the attack speed and the extra damage out early, he picked up a ton of kills and really secured it for him. He took down a couple towers with the team fight, and just along with that Drow aura, just so much damage that they couldn't control him. And yeah, I think he did really well last game.
He didn't even dominate his lane at all and get tons of last hits, but I mean, who needs last hits when you're pretty much farming heroes, right?
Exactly.
We are seeing the Magnus picked up by Trash Brothers again, so I'm surprised that one didn't warrant a ban, because even though he didn't get off a lot of huge RPs, he made a lot of space and just did a lot of control in teamfights.
And a lot of team fight coming out, so just as Magnus gets picked up, Tidehunter on the revenge pick, so this is a lot of AoE ultimates coming out. We got Earthshaker, Jakiro, Magnus being thrown out, now with the Ember Spirit as their sort of carry, possibly going mid. I mean, it's just so much damage coming out, which is great to see. And Super Trash Brothers really taking control of that right click last game. Now they just want to flip the script and go full team fight against them. And I mean, why not? With a couple of combinations, I didn't see a lot of RPs get more than a couple of heroes, except for that last one. And Enigma being picked up. Oh my goodness! What a surprise, is it not?
Every single hero here has the ability to stun more than one enemy. Oh, I guess
it's nuts.
Yeah, I guess Bolus isn't really a stun, but still.
This is insane. I mean, that's so much AoE on both sides. What a surprise. And not horrible picks at all here, with Leshrac being so dominant. I mean, Warlock tossing down golems, like you said before, with the Fatal Bonds. That's a lot of damage in itself. And just in case you didn't need enough lockdown with the golems, you now have a Ravage as well as a Black Hole. I mean, that's just so much coming out. A lot of ultimates. And, I mean, what do you think it's going to come down to. I think it's really who gets the first jump on both of these sides. I mean, Blink Daggers will be picked up by a Tidehunter and the Enigma, as well as an Earthshaker and a Magnus. It's just what they need. So I really think it's going to be who gets the first jump or who gets the better return jump second. Like later on, I think Earthshaker might be better just to hang on to Fissure and wait for that Enigma to throw out a black hole so he can silence her. But that's it. Like, there's just so much back and forth.
Yeah, I want to see Trash Brothers pick up a skirmisher, because I think one of the biggest weaknesses of What a Surprise's lineup is their reliance on
Only
big
10
cooldowns.
seconds.
Warlock, Tidehunter, and Enigma all have, like, almost
5 seconds.
2 minutes
Hurry,
apiece. I mean,
hurry.
Ravage isn't that bad. Oh, yeah. No, yeah, they're all over 2-minute cooldowns. Yeah, and there's a Spectre coming out, too. Leshrac is pretty much the only one that can constantly fight on What a Surprise, so they're going to have to consider that.
This is insane. There's just so much AoE and then kill potential. And if that's not enough, I mean, just in case you don't get the kills, Spectre's going to come out with her ultimate and jump right in all over the map. If she gets the slightest bit of farm ahead of them, it's going to be detrimental to Team What a Surprise. And they're really going to have to come out strong with this Tidehunter and really have this Leshrac farmed up so it can deal a ton of damage. Otherwise, like, this Spectre might actually be too tanky for them to get any extra damage off, because they're really relying just on ultimates right now, other than the Leshrac. There's your right click. Okay, so Wraith King. But this, I mean, a lot of Wraith Kings get in front, and he goes down. That's him coming right back up. Everybody slow down, and they're going to look to throw down more ultimates. What a game we have on our hands here. So, yeah, down on bottom here, we got Trash Brothers, Not the Mamas, running on the Chikiro. We have Bubble Pop on the Farming Spectre. Toolbox, most likely running mid on the Ember Spirit. We have Denise back on the Magnus. And we do have End Times running on the Earthshaker.
On the side of What a Surprise, we do see TWR picking up a jungler now on that Enigma. Squid going on the Warlock. They're position 5. It's going to be a little bit tough. Kalis going to be picking up that Leshrac in the safe lane, it looks like. Meanwhile, we see... Oh, no. Sun will be on the safe lane. I think Kalis is going to end up going mid. And in the off lane, we do have Legend on that Tidehunter. That's a pick that's going to be... I'm going to be really watching out for that. Big Ravages are always something I like to see.
Yeah, and right away, I mean, 4 on bottom against Legend here on the Tidehunter, and he's going to look to put up some wards, maybe for his pool camp. He knows he's going to have a rough time. Blocks it up, but this is going to be Not the Mama rotating right in on him. They do have vision, but he doesn't really have any extra coming in on the response, and I think he's just going to throw out the Liquid Fire just to harass. But this should be a guaranteed rune on bottom with all 4 heroes, and not only that, but on top as well, this will be a guaranteed rune for What a Surprise. It should be. It's just a Magnus. He still hasn't skilled. He's going to go for the skewer push?
Oh, I really hope so. I'd love to see somebody get stuck up there.
World avatars to pretend to murder one another.
No, it doesn't skill anything. It actually just gets back. So, Rune going to Wraith King and on top, and Rune going to Ember Spirit on bottom. So, 2 pulled tangos is probably going to be an early bottle. I think it is coming out from the courier. Yes, indeed it is. So, it's going to be a tri-lane on bottom with Bubble Pop, End Times, and Not the Mama with just Legend here. So, it's going to be difficult for him.
I want to see if they're going to try and unblock this camp. They have to know something's up since he was scouted out coming up here. Yeah, they're not going to be able to pull. And Tidehunter, you know, being able to do pretty well against a 2 melee tri-lane.
It's still going to be really difficult. There's a lot of stun block coming out, especially with this Fissure. If they block him in, yeah, Spectre doesn't do amazing right click early on, but if they manage to get him down at just before like level 4, before he has too much in his Kraken Shell, then that could be an early first kill. Meanwhile, on top here, we have Denise facing up against Squid and Sun. This is going to be difficult for Denise, I think. Sure, he can throw out the shockwaves, but just like last time, he had a little bit of a rough go against that Tusk early on. Sure, he managed to get out his Blink Dagger later, but really didn't win the lane early on.
It looks like Toolbox is going to get chased out of lane a little bit by Kalis. Not going to have anything come of it, though. He is sitting on top of him at 5 hit hits, but a little too early to tell. Not worth.
Yeah, and we actually have Earthshaker pinging out this on bottom. I think he knows something's up, so does have his sentries on hand. And sentry goes down. Yeah, he does find the ward. So good deal ward by him. And Legend, if they start pulling this camp, he's really going to have a tough time here on bottom.
Yeah, it is pushed pretty far up right now, but we're going to see if they're able to control the lane enough, keep that creep equilibrium back, and give that Spectre all the farm in the world. Do you think this is a Radiance Rush game for her?
It would be good. There's a lot of Blink Dagger potential coming out from both teams, really. But yeah, if she does get out of Radiance, Super Trash Brothers is going to have a little bit better time not getting jumped on so hard by Legend on that Tidehunter, as well as the Enigma jumping in. I mean, if you get out the Radiance, that's taking out a lot of AoE potential, and that lets you win a team fight even more. So Radiance wouldn't be a bad idea. She should have a lot of room here to free farm down on bottom with this tri-lane, and if anything, that's probably going to be a pretty quick Radiance, maybe around the 20-minute mark.
And let's talk a little bit about this Enigma, because this is something that's sort of flown under the radar for me. Is this a game where you want to rush mech, or do you need that blink initiation really fast?
I think you want that blink initiation really fast, especially like if they do manage to get the Radiance on Spectre. Enigma is one of the best, if not the best jungler in the game, and that is going to be an early Blink Dagger if you go straight for it. He already has picked up the Soul Ring, so this could be a straight rush. And that's what they need. They need to get the Blink Dagger out on him. Eventually he's going to get a point in Malefice. By that time he will have the Black Hole. And if they can get that early kill potential... Oh, hold up here. He does actually pick up a headdress. You might be right with that early mech, which is going to be interesting, because after that, he's going to be shut down, I think.
Yeah, and that's really going to help against all the AoE from Trash Brothers. I mean, if he gets an early enough mech, that's almost half of people's health that he's healing up with it. So they could look to take some early fights, some early towers, and really take map control away from the Spectre.
Meanwhile, top, Magnus getting some levels, sitting comfortable at level 4, but not a lot to show for his name for any last hit, sitting at a lonely 2 and 0. It's going to be tough for him to get in there, and Squid's just going to keep throwing out the dots on him. He's going to have to get back slowly.
Yeah, there we go. I was going to say, why does Squid have full mana? We need to see some more Fatal Bonds coming out from this.
So, no ganks or anything coming out here. I think they really just want to secure his farm here on Bubble Pop. And same for Trash Bros. I mean, if Leshrac can get out an early, if he is going to go Bloodstone and probably eventually into an Octarine Core, you just want the farm early on for your team as well. It's going to be an early farm game for both of these sides here, especially for the Spectre and also the Ember Spirit. Get a couple Blink Daggers down, but same for What a Surprise. You got to get your Blink Daggers out before you can really engage on a lot of team fights here, and really get some items on top for this Wraith King and the Leshrac to be able to deal any damage.
Call me a narcissist here, but I think everybody's just farming because they need to give us a little bit of a break from last game. A lot of talking. And a pause coming out. Yeah,
a lot of pause time, talk, and hopefully this doesn't last too long here. Now it's turns out to be a mouse problem, so we're gonna have a quick little pause here. Meanwhile, we're gonna talk. If people want to head over and follow us at NMM Dota, or myself at NMM_Sub0, and my co-caster at NMM_VV, as well as at NMM_Armpit. We do appreciate the follows, and we engage a lot on Twitter as much as possible, and we really like being a part of the community, so you can shout at us there, or especially as our Twitch channel at New Meta Media. We really want to keep up to date for everything and kind of control the community, be gods of our own demise, and run around and spread the word.
Yeah, we're just going to shamelessly market ourselves here. No hate, I promise.
Yeah, plug away and sell our souls. That's all we're doing.
Now, Wraith King here, Sun, what does he want to pick up first? I don't know if he really needs a Blink Dagger. We've already got 2 heroes that are probably going to be building one. I think he can pretty much just walk in. Is he going to build a Mords, or what do you think?
He definitely doesn't want to build a Midas this game, because you do not want to go late against a Spectre for 1 and the Ember Spirit for 2, because that's going to be a lot of damage coming out. I really think he should come online here. He can go for a Blink if he wants to, but that's so much potential that you're relying on Blinks to be able to initiate a fight. Armlet is just such a good item right now, and it's so hard for people to go up against. It's not that they don't fully understand the item, but it's hard to understand when they're obviously going to activate it or not. And if you're trying to chase down a hero and you just cannot kill them with an armlet, it's so frustrating. So he actually might get that just to give him even more kill potential, not only for saving his life, but really dealing out the damage quick and fast. So I think armlet's not a bad choice for him, and then go straight into maybe a Basher, perhaps?
Yeah, they need to be able to out-damage Trash Brothers in the mid-game. I think that's going to be the biggest thing if they want to take over the map. Otherwise, I mean, they're just going to be cutting even at best, and then Trash Brothers is going to come back in the late game and bite them in the ass.
And right now they are actually taking control of farm. Enigma sitting top of the charts at 34-1. Wraith King right up behind her at 26, and Leshrac on mid sitting at 24. Well, comfortable lead against this Ember Spirit. I mean, that Leshrac's really taking control of this lane, and that's usually going to happen against an Ember Spirit. It's just really hard to get a lot of work done with the Ember Spirit, just being that melee right clicker early on, until you get a couple more points in Flame Guard. But right as I'm saying that, he does toss out the smoke, and he looks to go for a gank up on top. Maybe try and find out Squid here stacking camps in the jungle.
What's he got? He's got 2 points in his Searing Chains. I don't know. He might find himself having a bit of a hard time.
Yeah, and he's going to find out TWR though, and he's going down pretty quick. Manages to get off the first blood here, going to Toolbox, throws out everything, and just barely takes him down. But meanwhile, that's happening. Kalos is coming pretty deep on him, and he looks to rotate back around, but Toolbox has got other things on mind. He's just going to TP out and head back to base, and Kalos isn't going to get anything, and none the wiser either. So that will be first blood going to the Ember Spirit, and that's a solo pickup. A lot of gold and a lot of experience for him, and he's actually going to gain control against that Leshrac.
Yeah, just a lot of really good decisions coming out from Trash Brothers. I was going to say before that happened, Earthshaker made a really good choice to come and lock the Ancients, because I was afraid they weren't going to, and Dad was going to get a 5 or a 6 stack going. He's going to have a bit of a tougher time now.
Yeah, it looks like both of them are just kind of playing it easy in the jungle here, end times and not the mama. I haven't really seen too many stacks come out from them, but they don't really need to pull lane because it looks like this Tidehunter is just fit to rather go stack camps. He's not getting anything on bottom, still sitting at level 4, so gonna look otherwhere. And Ember actually getting Leshrac here on mid, so that's another pickup kill for him. Manages to pick up the rune just in time here, and yeah, he's really starting to take control, sitting at level 8. And I think that will be an early drums here picking up, so he's going to start rotating around the map. Look out for those ganks.
Yeah, if Toolbox's Ember Spirit is anything like his Wind Ranger, I really fear for what a surprise is going to be able to do to stop him.
Meanwhile, the Spectre's starting to climb up here. She's sitting at 27 last hits, well behind a lot of the side of Trash Brothers, but I mean, she's going to make her mark eventually. As soon as she gets up there, Power Tread's already on top of her, so doesn't go the phase boot route, wants to just tank up. And I mean, it's not a bad idea. There is a lot coming out from What a Surprise, especially with Sun, is going to be so tanky against him. He's already hit level 7, so yeah, Spectre tanking up is definitely a good idea.
Yeah, I think that they can just play for the late game. By the looks of it, Toolbox is really going to have a fun time just spiraling out of control and taking over the mid game, despite What a Surprise's best intentions. He's actually going to go on the Enigma here, and I think this is going to be a pretty easy kill.
Yeah, tosses out the black hole, but that will be a killing spree for Toolbox, so alt wasted, and Kalos is going to go hard on top of him. He's running pretty low, out of mana here for Toolbox, so does manage to hit off the stun, and Kalos might actually pick up this return kill, and he's trying to juke him back and forth in the trees, but finally does go down to the lightning. And Earthshaker wanting to kind of come in and save his buddy Toolbox, but nothing's going to come of it.
I have a big voice and a giant fissure, but I can't save my friends.
Structures are fortified.
Poor puppy dog.
I was actually wondering why Ember Spirit didn't just TP out immediately after he got stunned, but it's hard to think of these things in the moment, I understand.
Dire's top tower is under siege.
And while that's all going on, Legend feels a little bit more comfortable to kind of go up tall against Bubble Pop on bottom here. Wants to get a couple more levels. Does finally actually manage to pick up 6. So interesting to see if he gets this Ravage off in a team fight or just wants to kind of go back to Ancients, maybe farm up for his Blink Dagger.
Yeah, that sentry's going to be expiring soon, so he is going to have the opportunity to stack it higher if he wants. He will need it. Let's talk about this Wraith King, though. He's getting a lot of farm here, sitting well above the 5 creep score per minute. And it looks like he is going to get an armlet. Now, is he going to wait for another item, or is he just going to take that and run with it and try and get some kills?
Yeah, Armlet's just so good. We were talking about that before. I think he can really take it and run with it and get some kills here. It's a lot of potential. He's already tanked up, sitting well over 1k in HP, and Enigma just taking this jungle down. So that's going to be an early mech well before the Radiance comes out in Spectre, if that's how she goes. So they can just look to start pushing here with the Enigma, and if Tidehunter wants to come out with a Ravage, it's a lot of kill potential, especially with this Wraith King being really tanky. And if he can manage to get off a couple kills here, that's just going to put him in a really good position, especially against a Spectre and an Ember Spirit.
Rotation from down bottom, and there goes the Ravage, and it looks like it's going to be Bubble Pop falling to the Leshrac.
Your desolation and the world's.
And that's a big pickup. I mean, just as she was starting to have really good farming, they turn it right back around, and they managed to pick down end times as well. But here comes Toolbox back right behind them and picks off the Leshrac as well as the Tidehunter. So that's 2 quick return kills. Ends up being a 2 for 2, but those are 2 huge kills for Toolbox, and he's just going to continue to keep doing this, sitting at 1k gold in the bank. Already has his drums, and I mean, nobody's really turned on him to start doing anything. Throws down the Remnant. He might actually just come straight back down here on bottom and start picking off even more kills. And Magnus, not even close to his Blink Dagger, but I don't think they even really need it yet on Denise. They're doing so much kills elsewhere that he's just kind of sitting comfortable getting XP stacked on top here. And now that we have talked about this Wraith King with the armlet, what do you think the Spectre really needs to get done here? I mean, sitting at 200 gold only after dying from that last one, it looks like she was trying to go for the drum route herself, but can't even manage to pick that up. How hard of a time is she going to have against this Ember Spirit coming in help? And actually, Legend, this might be a kill for right as I'm speaking about it. And that'll give her a little bit of farm, but I mean, she's still running pretty low here on gold. What do you think she needs?
Yeah, it looks like she's going for the Diffusal Blade with the Robe of the Magi already picked up. It might not be the worst idea in the world. It's good against the Enigma and the Leshrac if you preemptively burn some mana before the teamfight, but it's going to cost them the tower mid.
Hang on mid here, not the Mama going down pretty quick, and Magnus coming down, gets a huge RP on 4, and Leshrac dealing out tons of damage just before he goes down, manages to pick up a couple kills, but Ember Spirit going unstoppable here, picking up all the kills, throws down on top of Sun. He does come up from his ultimate, but he's going to be chased down by 3 here. Bubble Pop rotating in as well as end times. And, wow, Bubble Pop actually going down really quick, but manages to get the kill just before it turns on him. So, Earthshaker picking up that one. And, wow, yeah, everybody going down there. Just not enough damage coming out. They were so low. And Kalis really dealing out a ton just before he goes down. But Ember picking up so much farm there. He's sitting at 9, 1, and 2. And, yeah, picking up a Claymore. So this is going to be a pretty quick Battle Fury, even on top of the drums.
Credit to Denise, just proving that a Magnus does not need a Blink Dagger to get off amazing RPs. That was completely game-changing and could cost a lot to What a Surprise.
Yeah, I mean, that skewer coming right down the cliff was just the precise moment that he got it and threw it down, locked in 4, and they really managed to turn around on that team fight.
Dire's middle tower is being attacked. Radiant's top tower is under siege.
So it looks like actually Spectre's going to go for Diffusal instead. What do you think about this? I mean, it's good against Sun, obviously, so he can't have enough mana here for his reincarnation, but do you think that's the proper route to go?
I think it's the only route to go.
Ember Spirit actually picking up another kill on top of Warlock here, but does finally go down to the Leshrac, so that's a wicked kill streak for Leshrac, just what he needed. A ton of gold to fill his belly. He's sitting almost at 2k, and that will be pretty close to his Bloodstone. So great pickup, 1-for-1 trade, but definitely the Warlock. What a Surprise picking up the better of that trade.
But yeah, what we were saying before, I think that the Spectre doesn't really have a choice. If he goes for the Radiance, I mean, look at What a Surprise. They're ready to go around and fight right now. They can't afford to have a Spectre just farming for the next 15 minutes.
And another huge 3-man RP going off again. Actually, that was 4. Black Hole coming out again. Denise manages to drop real quick, and Bubble Pop needs to get out. He's sitting really low. First takes down the Tidehunter, but he needs to escape and gets ticked down by the Warlock. So that right now is a 3-for-3 trade. But hang on, Sun comes in the back and kills down Jakiro. That's a killing spree for him, so even more gold. But just as I say that, Toolbox rotates in himself and manages to get the kill on Wraith King. So just like that, a 4-for-4 trade, and everything be expended. Black Hole, a Ravage, the RP, the Echo Slime just before the Earthshaker went down. Goodness sakes, that was just so much back and forth.
Very stimulating team fights to watch. Like we said, there's just so much team fight ultimate happening. I knew this was going to be a great game to cast right from the get-go.
Yeah, and it's surprising to see everybody getting that off their ults there. As we were talking about it through the draft, it's who's going to get the better fight? Is it the person that engages or re-engages? And yeah, just everybody jumping everything, but it's so much back and forth that Toolbox actually took the most of it, killing off that Wraith King at the end, I think. But he chases down Legend, and luckily for him, Squid's healing him up with that Warlock, and I think better heads prevail, and Ember Spirit's just going to get out comfortably.
Yeah, I think there's just so many ways that these team fights can unfold. It all depends on who goes first, who goes second with these huge AoE stuns, but I think Tidehunter will be an X factor, definitely.
Now, there's a mech completed on Enigma. What do you think he needs first? Does he want to just go straight Guardian Greaves and manage to keep them all healed up and mana full? Or does he want to get that Blink Dagger first? Because Guardian Greaves is such an important item anymore. Anybody that gets that out early, it's just unstoppable to kill a team. And with them having full mana almost and right back up to almost full health, they can just continue to keep pushing. With such a tanky Wraith King, as well as the Leshrac picking up a ton of gold off of that last one, he's getting pretty tanky himself. Does he want the Guardian Greaves right now? I think that would be the better item, wouldn't you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think he really needs the Blink Dagger that badly. I mean, Tidehunter's there to set up the massive black holes, and Blink isn't really going to help him survive longer in team fights. Yeah, the Guardian Greaves would definitely be the way to go. Followed by Pipe.
Yeah, for sure. And Glyph going out, but this will be a free tower for them. On bottom, Bubble Pop is just going to keep pushing here. He does actually finally finish his Diffusal Blade, so good for him to finally pick up his little bit of farm, but I don't think he's going to get a lot done. Throws out the ult, and this is going to be a huge engagement. Echo Slam going out, and Squid falling really low to Toolbox. Legend turning right on him, but does get off a Shackle Shot on 2. And Magnus actually going down there really quick, didn't get off a ton, falling to the Tidehunter, and Warlock taking the Ember Spirit just before he goes down. Leshrac finishing off the Jakiro, so that's just a 2-for-1. Ends up being a 4-for-1, so Sun picking off a ton, and they're going to start to chase down Bubble Pop. This could be a team wipe if Wraith can get one last hit and throws out the stun. That will be a double kill for Sun and a team wipe in all. So an easy trade, just throwing down that Warlock for a full team wipe on Super Trash Brothers. So what a surprise, taking a huge team fight there, and they're just going to look to push even more.
I think something we forgot to consider with What a Surprise in the lineup is that they have so many big AoE ults that they don't need every one of them for every engagement. They can pick and shoot. They didn't have the black hole up there, but it's okay because they had the Chaotic Offering and the Ravage. They can fight constantly.
Yeah, and with the Shrek doing a ton of that magical damage, and just in case that wasn't enough, they have Wraith King throwing down whatever right clicks, and he's just so goddamn tanky, you just can't take him down. He did blow his reincarnation, but well worth it for sure, picking up a double kill, and now he's finished his Basher, just like we said, and it's going to be harder and harder to take him, and it's going to be harder and harder to deal with him as well. He's becoming a real true carry, and Spectre, all the meanwhile, does throw the ult, manages to finally pick up the Diffusal Blade on top of it, but that's going to cost him with that death on top, sitting at 200 gold, and I mean, he's had so much farming room here, but still sitting third in last hits. Enigma top of the charts at 102, and Wraith King at 88. She just hasn't farmed enough, I don't think.
No, and the Ember is getting pretty close to his Battle Fury. He only needs that Void Stone before he completes it. I'm not sure how much that's going to help them immediately. He needs to get a little bit more damage before he starts cleaving a ton. If there's a really good reverse polarity, I think he could definitely do some damage, though.
He also needs the regen for the Ember Spirit. I mean, you run out of mana really quick, so once he gets this Battle Fury online, he's doing a ton of damage, but it's not just that. The regen is huge. And Sun running really low here. He's just going to fall. Throws off the armlet, unfortunately, and it will be the burn damage that takes down. And Kalis tries to TP out, doesn't know where Toolbox is, and Ember getting out a double kill here. And that's going to be huge for him. The Wraith King and Shrek just had no idea where he was. They knew he was around with that burn damage, but just unable to key point and just no real vision for him.
Tidehunter having that blanky TP's top to try and make something of Squid's giant upheaval, but not going to be able to do it. Chaotic Offering is now off cooldown. It's going to be interesting to see if they engage on this. I know they're just two, but they could do a lot of damage between the two of them.
Oh, without a doubt, for sure. And, I mean, the map control here, we got a couple wards coming out for river wards, but not a lot for the side of What a Surprise. They just don't have a lot of vision control. They have one in their jungle, and I think that's about it. So, I mean, they have been dominating this game quite a bit with those last couple of team fights, but I think they really need to get some key vision in the jungle, really stop the farm of Bubble Pop, because it still is a Spectre. She will eventually come online, as well as that Ember Spirit really rotating around. If they get that vision, kind of take out their jungle, maybe even smoke and gank up a few of their main core heroes, that will be a big turn for them.
Yeah, and we do see a smoke on the Enigma as well. Warlock's holding on to 3 Observer Wards, so I think it'd be very very profitable right now for them to smoke into the Radiant jungle and just sort of pop some wards down, maybe catch someone out of position, try and take a tower.
Dire's top tower.
And right as we talk about that, they do manage to smoke up, but I think they're going to change up their idea and go into the Rosh pit, and that's what it will be. So most likely going to be turned on here for Sun. It can go on Kalis as well. It's going to be a ton of damage for him, almost finishing out his Bloodstone. But having to go up against a Wraith King that's already tanky, 3 lives for him, it will be really hard to go up against them, and this is going to be a free Rosh. They do have vision of it, but with that smoke going in, they just have no idea what's going on. And 4 grouping up here, almost 5 for Trash Brothers. They're not going to be suspecting any Rosh pit yet.
Yeah, no, they smoked just outside of Roshan's, that mountain ward that everybody loves so much, so definitely not contested, and I think this is going to be exactly what they need to start marching down, taking more towers. That tier 1 bottom is really what they need. They need to take away the jungle.
So they do manage to bring it down with ease, and Sun picking up that extra life, so that's going to be a lot for him. It's going to be 3 lives in total. And Squid just sitting pretty comfortable here. He does pick up a point booster, so this is going to be an Aghanim Scepter rush straight for Squid. And yeah, double Golem is going to be really tough to deal with. Like you had talked about on top, this team does have a lot of AoE ults, but you're right, they do not need to stack them together. They can have 1, 2 together, that's more than enough. If they stack 3 with an Aghanim Scepter on that Warlock too, I mean, that is a lot of kill potential, and it's going to be really hard to go up against, especially with Sun being so tanky with the 3 lives.
Yeah, and all 3 of the big AoE ults they have, the Chaotic Offering, the Black Hole, and the Ravage, all heroes that can also build the Pressure Orbs, which is just going to make it even more devastating.
And everybody's grouped up, but I think they're just going to get back. I don't see why. They could probably just start to push this tower, but maybe something's up that I don't know. Either way, it's end times and this not the Mama and Jakiro here just going to push it back out, not really knowing what anything's going on here. And Spectre's just going to continue to farm here, and you might be right with this Radiance. It's going to be a late Radiance, and she's farming up a ton of gold sitting at 2,500, but it's going to be a Radiance nonetheless if she goes for it. It's still a very controllable item, and with any Blink Daggers on What a Surprise, it's going to be really hard for them to engage on anything. They do manage to get a Malefice stun on Denise, but I don't know how much farther they can chase this out without being scared for anybody else coming in. It is Trash Bro with a double damage rune, and I think both teams are just gonna play it safe here. Mech does go out, and they really want to engage on this for What a Surprise, but Trash Brothers thinking that they should probably just get out with sitting only 4 against the 5.
They definitely need to make something happen. With Wraith King picking up this Aegis, he should just be, yeah, like this, running into the T2 as bait, and as soon as he gets jumped on and dies, everyone else comes in with the ults.
Still with the double damage rune, just expired actually on Toolbox, but hang on, he has picked up a Chrysalis on top of this Battle Fury, so he's dealing a lot of damage. And Spectre throwing out a casual ult here. I don't think he's going to look to rotate on anybody, just kind of getting vision. But Toolbox is going to jump right in on 2 here. Ravage managed to get off, but Leshrac still does go down. It's a killing spree for Toolbox. Throws out a Remnant behind just in case, and does manage to dodge the Golem, but that will be a dead Earthshaker diving a little too low. And buyback from Leshrac actually, and Not the Mom is being chased down by Sun, and he just doesn't know who to go for yet. Still has the Aegis online, but running back and forth between Bubble Pop and Not the Mama, and Kalis actually pushing really hard here into Not the Mama. But I think it's better that they both just look to get out. Ember Spirit, look at the damage he puts out. Mech having to go out to just save them, and that's just from one Sleight of Fist and a Bolus. I mean, getting so much from that crit.
They need to pop the Black Hole on Toolbox if they want to kill him. There's no other way.
Oh, huge RP, gets it on 3, pushes them out away from Legend. All of them are sitting pretty low except for Sun. Denise actually going down, but dominating streak for Toolbox here. Does pick up the Tidehunter, Earthshaker picking out the Warlock. TWR throwing the Black Hole just to stay alive, but this will be a turnaround. And Enigma actually taking the dominant streak for Ember Spirit, so that was a good use of the Black Hole. And they're going to chase down Not the Mama here. Sun does not have a Blink Dagger, but it could be, no, it's going to be too late here. He's run out of mana. Wanted to use Aegis, but really no point to. And that's going to be the Aegis expended because he did not have enough mana for Reincarnation. And they're going to stun him up here. This will be 3-4 against Sun. And with this Diffusal, they're going to have to kill him one more time, but nobody else is around to help him. Everybody's pretty much left him, and he might get a return kill on top of End Times, but manages to escape, and that will be a huge pickup. So the Aegis as well as the Reincarnation Life to take down the Wraith King, and that's a 3 for, I think, just 3 for 1 in the end of that.
The Ember Spirit did also die. There was a buyback on him, so 2 for 3.
Right, it was a dieback. So yeah, buyback on Toolbox as well as the Magnus, so 2 for 3. Okay trade, but with Wraith King being brought down so many times and nobody else there to rescue him, that says a lot about the team, just not able to deal enough damage to finish them without their ults. Sure, they have a ton of them, but apart from that, it really is just the Wraith King Leshrac doing all the damage, and with Leshrac being forced all the way back, Wraith King just didn't stand a chance. And just as I say it, Toolbox is actually going to jump right back in here. TWR running low as well as Kalis. And Bubble Pop actually looking to rotate in. She wants some kill potential here. And she doesn't pick up the Leshrac. He does commit suicide just as he has the Bloodstone. So nothing lost, nothing gained really, except for a couple charges for Leshrac. And yeah, they're just going to look to get back here. But a lot of kills coming up from Trash Brothers. Really, this Ember Spirit coming online for them. What do you think?
I was going to say, it's really showing how good of a pick the Ember Spirit is. Not only is he able to fight constantly and do a lot of damage to these squishy heroes like Enigma and Warlock, but also, he has his spell shield. You know, he doesn't take much damage in these team fights. The first 500 is just shrugged off.
Yeah, spell shield just not doing enough here, but I mean, in terms of farm overall, what do we have for net worth here? We got almost at 12k for the Ember Spirit, with the Wraith King right up behind him, just only at 9,300. It's really the Spectre that's kind of turned it around. She hadn't got much farm on bottom. I don't know if it was just the rotations or just not able to kind of securely get the farm for it, but she snuck up right behind, and she's only 200 gold off of this Wraith King. So just like that, things have turned, and a couple of kills for her.
So I'm pinging out here. I think Trash Brothers know that Sun is invading their jungle, and now it looks like he's going to be trapped. Now he's probably wishing he had a Blink Dagger, but they are going to back off and leave him alone.
Yeah, they have a ton of vision here coming out. I mean, all that river vision as well as that deep jungle vision coming out. They know what's going on, and I think they're just going to be free to take this tower. And End Times is feel a little scared. He does have a Blink Dagger if he has to get out, but manages to turn on stun instead. And Kalis getting a stun on him. Throws out the ult. Echo Slam going down, but Tidehunter in the backhand throws out the huge Ravage, and RP coming out, hits on 2. Denise dropping really low, but manages to skewer right into the Liquid Fire, and that's going to be a kill on Leshrac. Warlock dying as well from that Magnus, and Ember's going to go wild here on top of Legend, so that's a 3 for 1 for just the Earthshaker. Although Bubble Pop's sitting pretty low, she's doing quite well, and that's going to be a huge exchange for them. And Ember and the Spectre's actually taking control over top of this farm from this Wraith King. That's a huge engagement without the Enigma.
Yeah, I think they really needed the black hole there. I mean, TWR was pushing out top. I understand they don't want to lose that tier 2 and lose map control so quickly, but they're getting to the point where they need to use all of the ultimates. They can't get away with just using 1 or 2 like they did there.
It's definitely tough to get anything done without this black hole right now. Enigma actually fishing for a BKB now that she's picked up the Blink Dagger, or it, rather. But yeah, they need these ultimates to really turn around on team fights, and although they got a huge Ravage off, it just wasn't enough. They only picked off the 1 kill.
No, and Warlock and Tidehunter really need to make sure that they don't overlap their stuns like they did in that last team fight, because every second counts against Trash Brothers right now.
And now, look what's come out. Spectre has picked up that Sacred Relic, so gonna be on this Radiance here pretty quick, and not like they didn't have enough damage coming out from the Ember Spirit. Now things are really gonna get tough, for what a surprise. After that team fight up top when they took those towers, I mean, I really thought they were taking a really comfortable lead, but you can never count out a farming carry, and Spectre's definitely one of them. She's just going to farm up, get her items, and with the ability to rotate around the map just to pick off a few, she's really gotten right back into this game.
Absolutely. It's going to be really interesting how quickly she progresses, and I don't think that What a Surprise has much to do with it. And going over to Toolbox, he's picked up his Demon Edge, but hold on, this fight right now.
No, manages to dodge the stun there, jumps all the way back with his Remnant, and End Time's just going to blink away too, so I think they're going to be okay here, and Sun's just going to look to start farming up. But yeah, talking about this Ember Spirit, he does have the Demon Edge on top of that Crystallis now, and he's only 70 gold away from that Daedalus, and that's going to be so much damage coming out for him. And it really will be tough to stay alive for these supports here. Squid is starting to tank up now that he does have the point booster as well as the Ogre Club. And Leshrac's getting a little bit tanky now too with the Bloodstone, but even still, I mean, it's so hard to control that Ember Spirit in the first place, and when he's dealing out whatever damage he wants with a couple early Sleight of Fists, and then hang on, wait a second, he throws out his ult, couple of Remnants coming out with full damage, as well as that Magnus tossing out the Empower on him. That's so much damage. Like, look at the creep wave just get blown up.
I think another thing that we haven't talked much about, because it seems to be flying under the radar, is Jakiro picked up a Glimmer Cape, which is absolutely huge against such a team-fighty magic damage lineup.
Yeah, and if you throw a Glimmer Cape on any of your carries, whether it be Spectre as well as Toolbox on the Ember Spirit there, that's even more survivability for them. And without throwing out any ults here, I mean, a lot of them get, like, Black Hole's going to get interrupted if he has a good bolus coming out, because they cannot control this Ember Spirit right now. They just can't get on top of him.
I think the best thing that they could do is have the Enigma pick up an Orchid, maybe. I know it seems a very weird item for an Enigma, but I think he's the only one who can really make use of it. Maybe the Leshrac, he could benefit from the regen, but they need to silence the Ember before he gets a BKB later.
Not only that, but Leshrac, look at what he already has, does pick up the point booster and vitality, so he really wants to get an Octarine core on quick, so he can really stay alive and still deal out all the damage. So yeah, not going to be the Orchid carrier of this game for sure, and he really isn't a natural one anyway. And yeah, like you said, it would be an interesting pickup from any of them. Really, the only one that I can see with the great potential is a carry Warlock if he had the early eggs, but no, this is the support Warlock on Squid. Like, there's no way he's going to be able to get out an Orchid in time.
Looks like we're going to see a Resurrection being
Sun running really low here. He does have his Reincarnation if he needs to use it. Black Hole coming out really quick. Ravage as well, but a huge RP getting Enigma in the back end. Squid going down really quick. Ember Spirit picking up 2 on Warlock and Tidehunter, also killing the Wraith King. Triple kill for the Ember Spirit. And Kalis actually picking off the Earthshaker here, but it will be him committing suicide just before Toolbox gets the kill. So that's a team wipe, not really with the suicide with the Leshrac, but that's a 3-for-4 trade for real, and Ember Spirit's still up. Toolbox is going to start pushing this right away with the Chikiro up, and that's going to be Liquid Fire as well as a lot of push from the creep, and this could be a 2T tower.
If there were 2 heroes to survive that fight, it was these 2. Yeah, this is very quick. If not, maybe a tier 3. But they do have a glyph, though. Just devastating team fight coming out from Trash Brothers. They have everything to answer to what a surprise. And that Glimmer Cape really just doing a lot of work protecting the Ember.
Yeah, I mean, they have so much survivability, and like all the AoE coming out from What a Surprise just isn't enough. They managed to get everything off, really. Like the Black Hole for an instant there, but it was the Ravage that pretty much hit on everybody. No big BKBs coming out yet for Ember Spirit or the Spectre, anybody. But they just are still able to survive and turn right around here. And Ember getting really close to picking up a second Battle Fury, and that's going to seal the deal for him for a lot of damage now that he's finished his Daedalus. And it's going to be really hard to bring him down, sitting at 24-6. He's had so much control. And let's just take a look at the goal graphs here. I mean, that steep incline as soon as a couple rush team fights, and Trash Bros really taking control of this game, sitting at almost 10k over in XP, and well over almost a 5k here for gold. So really taking quite a controlling lead.
Now, the Tidehunter is getting very close to his Refresher Orbs. The Legend's going to be able to pop out 2 Ravages in team fights, and that will be pretty big, assuming he can get the next 1200 gold.
But they do, did they spot him out here? I think it's just a ping from their own team. So they're getting a couple of wards out here. I think they realize that something's going to go down in Rosh right away with their one nicely fine ward here sitting on just on top of the stairs of the Roche pit. And yeah, Toolbox is going to go in here with Bubble Pop, and this is what Trash Bros really needs to kind of secure the team fight and be able to finally push this high ground with only 1 tier tower left up on top. So I think they're just going to manage to take this without any ease. Spectre throwing off the ultimate just to kind of keep them at bay, and look how low they're getting. I mean, Enigma's already at half health. Squid having to heal up himself. Kalis, even with the Bloodstone, just not able to survive really with ease and out of that one. Like I said before, this Rosh is going to be free for them, and if that goes on top of this Ember Spirit, look out here. What a surprise, because he's going to be bouncing around the map.
I feel like something that Trash Brothers really have in their favor is they can dish out a lot of damage with pretty much no physical commitment of, like, you know, putting themselves at risk. The Sleight of Fist and the Spectre ult can pretty much bring everybody to their knees, and there's nothing you can really do to stop it.
And yeah, they're just going to start rotating around the jungle here. I think they figured out that that's where they're going to be. And Kalis might actually get caught out here. Yep, Toolbox gets jumped right on here. Actually gets the bolus off on Squid. And easy right click to take down that Warlock. And he's going to look to go right on Legend. Legend throwing off the Ravage just for one. But he's going to go down here either way to this Ember Spirit. And that's an unstoppable kill for this Ember Spirit. He's just running out of control. And this is, yeah, takes down the tower. Easy for him. And they might actually just, like, for goodness sakes, they're just taking everything. If they want to take this, it will be a really easy tower on top, but I think they're just going to go T3 instead. Why not?
Yeah, that's pretty much going to cap it off. I mean, Tide Hunter is not going to see his next enemy before the end of the game, and they're just going to march up here, take this T3. This is easy racks for them.
Yeah, and Ravage already being expended, and Warlock's still not back to throw a Golem. Black Hole, that's just not going to be enough follow damage, I think, before Sun goes down, as well as Kalis. And that's already Reincarnation being expent. And he does have a level 3, so we'll be back soon, but I think Toolbox is basically just taking all of these. Squid almost throwing out the Golems there, but decides to keep it at bay, and Toolbox just throwing out all the damage here. I haven't even seen the rest of his team. He's been sitting up there taking that tower, taking all the hits, and look how alive he is. Still with an Aegis, and he's going to go right back on 2. They use the Golem, they use the Black Hole, and that's just going to be one of his lives. He's going to be right up here in a second, and End Times jumps in with the huge oh my goodness, the RP coming out, takes down Sun, triple kill for the Spectre coming in too. For End Times, and that's just going to be a team wipe. Oh my goodness, triple kill coming out for the Spectre too, and that's going to be GG for What a Surprise. Oh my goodness, Ember just killing him. Toolbox again, just the game MVP. He got just the farm that he needed, really took control of this game, and they were just not able to go up against him there. So that will be a 2-0 sweep for Trash Brothers this week. And yeah, what do you think of the matchup there, Vivi?
Wow, I'm utterly speechless. Toolbox's mechanical skill was just pretty incredible. He picked 2 very slippery heroes in both the games and just proved how much he can abuse the mechanics of them with the Ember Spirit. You know, you saw him dodging almost every one of Leshrack's split earths between his Sleight of Fist and his Fire Remnants. It was just incredible to watch. Very good coordination from Trash Brothers and not being intimidated by the amount of AoE Ultimate and Lockdown that What a Surprise had.
Yeah, that's 22, 4, and 10 for the Ember Spirit, really coming out strong, and yeah, just no real response from What a Surprise. I thought they were really going to take this back, and getting a lot of ultimates there, but just not enough damage to take them down. So, like I said, that will be a 2-0 sweep for Trash Brothers this week, and thanks for everybody watching on Twitch, and go ahead and follow us at our own Twitch at New Meta Media, as well as UGC's channels. This is UGC3. And follow us over at Twitter at NMMDota. I'm Sub-Zero, joined by my co-caster, Vivi, as well as our wonderful stats man in the background, Armpit. And hope to see you around next week. Thanks again, everybody. Have a great night.
Good night, everybody.